All right. So today we're going to pick up on the different duties of Hinduism, and then we'll jump into the funerary cult and responses, especially those of you that are or will be nurses or PAs. What should you know? What can you do? So did we talk about Varna Dharma, or we just put it up there?
No.
So there's three sets of duties. The first duties are relevant to your stage in life, right? So you're a Hindu, you're a student, and you want to focus on your studies. It's not the time to be out, having lots of sex. I had to say sex in the morning to make sure you're awake. Never mind, you're not awake. Okay, so Varna Dharma. Varna Dharma, you have four main classes. And the tradition is that you are born into one of these classes. And with each class, there's a specific duty. So the Brahmins, you're looking at the scholarly class, the priests, scholars, warriors, soldiers, kshatriyas, vaishyavas, your merchants, professionals, and your shudras would be your lowest class. Outside of them, we have something called the untouchables. And technically, the untouchables are not a class. That's everyone else who's not born into this class system. Today, there's a lot of controversy about the classes, as you can see, right? Mike, why might there be controversy about a class system?
Just the fact that one's saying that they're better than the other.
Right. In essence, are you saying the Brahmins are the best, right?
Yeah.
And especially in practicality, when you look at the Indian society where the people in the upper classes tend to have all the power, all the money, is that an injustice? And we're not going to get into in this class, but some Hindus would say, someone like Gandhi would say, you need to be, classes are very important, it's a cosmic order, the way in which you're born, and you need to live out those specific duties to the best ability. So, a Shudra, you can go to college, but just understand that your best abilities are doing a line of work that has laboring involved. Vice versa. If you're a Brahmin, you can become a farmer. But your best abilities is using that a scholarly aspect of your new birth. Okay. Nevertheless, still today, and especially with persons like Gandhi, they would reject the way in which untouchables. And by the way, what is an untouchable? Pat, just by the name untouchable, what does that mean?
Well,
Let's say you never heard about this, didn't do any of the readings.
thousands of years ago, they were actually untouchable.
What does that mean, though, untouchable?
They're below you. They're not equal to you.
Like, literally, what does that mean? Everything you're saying is absolutely correct. What does that mean?
You can't touch them.
You can't touch them, right? So, and the people today, when we look at the funerary cults, the people that tend to do all the dirty work, like dealing with the dead bodies, those are your untouchables. Hence, you cannot touch them. And then finally, the Sadharana Dharma. Sadharana Dharma, so all the other dharmas are relative to either your state in life or your class. These are for everyone. So these are kind of like, you want the 10 Commandments of Hinduism, right? If you're looking for something like that, you would look at this guy named Manu and his specific laws, and he would say every Hindu must be steadfast, forgiving, repression of senses appetites, right? So be in control of yourself, be in control of your desires, of your hunger, your lust, etc. Wisdom, seek to be learning, veracity, person of energy, person of fight, but also restraining your anger. Don't be angry. And when we look at how this is lived out, there are three main margas, or paths, within Hinduism today. First is the ritual path. And this has to do with participating in those religious rituals, right? the vast majority of Hindus today. And frankly, the vast majority of Hindus participate in all these to some extent. When you're dying, you'll have the priest come in and do specific rituals. We'll talk about those rituals in a little bit. The final path is that devotional path. So this is in terms of if you have Hindu friends here at Duyuville, they're in Buffalo or in Canada, whatever. I guarantee you, if they're active, they're probably if they're here, right? If they're not, monks walking around or hermits walking around, but they're participating in life and they're your age, chances are they're following this path of Bhakti Marga, which is, sacrifice. We'll talk about this. Sacrificing the fruits of your actions to God. Right? So everything you do is for Lord Krishna or Lord Vishnu. Path of devotion. And then finally, the Jnana Marga, which is this radical asceticism. Right? Some of you, how many of you have ever done yoga? Okay. And how many of you have ever done the breathing practices in yoga in addition to the stretches, right? And I think you do that. It's like warm up at the end of it, warm down. But that itself is a part of this Jnana Marga. This is an example of what we're talking about in terms of these great ascetics.
Kumbh Mela means pitcher festival. It is the largest Hindu pilgrimage and possibly the largest gathering of human beings on planet Earth for a single event. There are several types of such festivals, and they take place every few years, rotating between 4 locations. Holy men, known as sadhus, are a very important part of Kumbh Mela. They cover themselves in ashes before they bathe at different spots along the sacred Ganges River in India, as they believe that bathing in the river cleanses them of their sins. Hindu holy men number in the millions in India. They are considered the monks or priests of Hinduism and live a very unusual life, including renouncing family and society for the religious purpose of gaining a form of enlightenment. They practice a variety of religious rites and customs, which vary according to the different sects that exist. But practices vary from fasting to standing on one leg for extended periods of time, meditation and yogic practices, to vows of silence, to smoking cannabis or hashish. Sadhus are allowed to receive donations, but many live in hunger and poverty. Women are also allowed to become sadhus, but they make up only a small % of the sadhu population.
What was that? Oh, so upbeat, right? Those sadhus would be just an example of the various ascetics that we see in this particular religion. And then one other way to talk about the different paths are the different yogas. And by the different Hindu yogas, we're not talking about, the popular yoga, right? I mean, I used to have a Wii, and I used to do Wii yoga. Have you ever done Wii yoga before? You know what I'm talking about? Right? You know, like a little balance board you're doing on. This is not what we're talking about. But there are 4 main yogas. And by yoga, for our purposes, yoga means discipline. How do you discipline yourself? The first yoga is karma yoga. Doing your duties for duty's sake. Think of Arjuna and Krishna. He goes out, he kills Kshatriya. He kills his brothers because it is his duty, without desiring the fruits of it one way or the other. The second, of course, Bhakti Yoga, which is the law of love for the sake of love. Anyone who loves God does not hate. So not simply doing your duty for duty's sake, but now you're acting totally out of this intense love and devotion for your God. 3, Raja Yoga. This is your discipline of mind. Concentration and meditation that lead to samadhi, or this super consciousness experience. Just think of, again, for those of you who practiced yoga before, one popular meditation that we'll see in all the Eastern traditions is to focus on your breath, particularly in Buddhism, right? You breathe in, you breathe out. But the goal is to discipline your mind to the extent that all you can do is focus on your breath. How many of you can do that? Anyone? Okay. How many of you have tried it before? Okay, close your eyes. Let's do it real fast. This is I'm not trying to push Hinduism on you, but I want you to kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. What I want you to do now for the next minute or 2 minutes, you can do nothing with your mind but focus on your breath. And don't like breathe in and out, really strangely. Just breathe normally, but do nothing but focus on your breath. And by the way, sit up straight because we won't fall asleep. Arch your back, sit up straight, shoulders back. No, seriously, this is the position. Close your eyes now. Focus on your breath. Okay. Come out of it. How many are able to do it? Raise your hand if you're able to just focus on your breath and nothing else. Part of the time? Michael, could you sustain your mind the entire time on your breath? That's pretty impressive. Maybe you should be a yogi. Or a monk. You'd be a good monk. And then finally, so the Raja Yoga is this intense discipline of the body, and specifically of the mind, controlling that mind. And then finally, Jnana Yoga, which is even more of an extreme form of spiritual insight. One might say in order to get to Jnana Yoga, you have to kind of master Raja Yoga. But here, like you're having this experience where you're experiencing yourself in the sea of this Brahmanatman, the sea of total unity. And just real quick, for most Hindus, they're going to use a variety of these yogas. So we're talking about 900 million Hindus today. The vast majority of them who are practicing Hindus would use a variety of these. And we call this a yoga of synthesis. Yoga synthesis simply means using a variety of the different yogas, of different disciplines. Just so you're aware, when we talk about the devotional task, there are actually three main gods. And he's kind of fallen out a little bit in recent years. But there is Vishnu in Hinduism. So there are about 3 million gods. But within those millions of gods, there are these three main gods. Kind of like in the Mesopotamian religion, there are hundreds of gods for everything. But there are these main gods. For Hinduism, Shiva is one of the main gods. And Shiva is usually known as the god of destruction. And then you have Brahman, the god of creation. The Upanishads pick up Brahman, and he becomes also this Brahman reality. As well as the priests are Brahmins as well. Interesting enough, so the Hinduism, they stress reincarnation. Reincarnation has a cosmic significance. So in one creation story, so some of you might be asking, some of your questions you have, like, so where do we get karma from? Where do we get, these ideas from. And there isn't one main historical story, one main story of creation. There are many. One story of creation is constantly participates on the cycle of samsara. So we have at the beginning of time, Brahman who creates, Vishnu sustains, and Shiva destroys. And then Brahman creates, Vishnu sustains, and Shiva destroys. So even time itself is this unending, cyclical, this unending cycle of birth and rebirth, right? So each and every one of you are souls that have been around for millions, maybe billions of years, more than we can even, think about. But so has everything else in the world, right? And so that's why in this particular vision, in this particular religion or context, they want to get off this cycle of birth and rebirth. So just a quick conclusion. By the way, we haven't talked about Devi. Today, Devi is an important goddess that you might find in Hinduism. And we'll just leave her there today. But again, liberation takes many lifetimes. Preservation of the body, tunes are, because, this is important, because liberation takes many, many lifetimes to occur. Your history now, your body, this life itself, is in some ways meaningless, right? You were an eternal soul, Patrick. You've been around for billions of years, and chances are you're going to have many more lives, right? So when you die, what's the point of preserving your body? Ergo, cremation. All right. So I have two videos I want you to watch, and I just want you to pay attention to what the families, the bereaved, are doing, and make note of any similarities that you see. And we'll talk about that. The first video is an excerpt, I believe it was done by National Geographic a few years ago, on the importance of the Ganges and the funerary rituals of Hinduism. And the second is actually, you got on YouTube, is actually a video from someone's camera of an actual funeral procession and burial of this dead man in a small town in India.
Varanasi, India. Stretching along the sacred Ganges, it is Hinduism's holiest city. Millions of pilgrims come to bathe in the purifying waters. But others come for a far different purpose. They come here to burn the dead, out in the open, in public. Thien Thayal has a job that many might find appalling. Thien belongs to a unique Indian caste or community known as the Domes. It is the traditional role of the Domes to cremate the Hindu dead. Members of Thien's family have been burning corpses for hundreds, perhaps thousands of years. For devout Hindus, touching a corpse is highly taboo. It is a ritually polluting act. Those who work with the dead are considered unclean and therefore untouchable. They are outcasts, but the Domes also play a pivotal role in the Hindu approach to death, which is based on the idea of reincarnation. Hindus believe every human soul passes through many lives. The ultimate goal is to unite with the Supreme Being. But until they are worthy, they continue to be reborn. The holy city of Varanasi provides a kind of spiritual shortcut. Hindus believe that if they die here and their ashes are scattered in the Ganges, their souls are liberated from the cycle. The Domes work as a team. While some build pyres and oversee cremation, others scavenge among the ashes and coals. Whatever touches the dead is theirs to keep.
The body we have to burn usually has golden jewelry on it. We sift and take it. The women have nose rings. The men have chains and finger rings. We take the gold and silver off the body.
The bodies continue to burn all through the night. Spending the night with the dead might seem like a frightening task.
We get habituated to it and don't get scared. Whether we are here or on the other side of the river, we can stay alone in the cremation grounds and we don't get scared.
The fires continue into morning as more bodies are brought down to the river. Thiem takes up his post again and immediately begins building a funeral pyre. His first customers have arrived. The family of the deceased gathers around as Thiem works. It is the traditional role of the firstborn son to set fire to the body. But first he must shave his head and dress in white robes. Thiem leads this firstborn son to the sacred flame, and then leads the man through the Puncha Kuma, the ritual of circling the body 5 times. They set fire to the corpse. Burning bodies is Thiem's only means of survival. He lives a Hindu paradox. The only way for him to escape the death industry is to die, and to be reborn into a higher caste. For now, the fires will continue to burn, and in the city of death, life goes on.